Hello everyone, this is Metroid Nerd number 9001 and we're gonna finish up Mega Man and Base today. Okay, which ones? Have I haven't done? No, I've already done that one. I think we're opening up the final gates. I've taken, in my spare time, I've done a bit of bulk grinding and finished up collecting all the CDs. So, yeah, I have all that done now. So I can also have more items to show off different features. Like I have the treble boost, so I can show off that treble boost is actually a weakness to a boss. So I figured that out. We'll finally get to see the fruits of the efforts of me figuring out how much damage everything does to the bosses in the king stages. I have the entire chart right on the other screen on my computer, so I can reference it at a moment's notice. I'm just gonna get critical attack. And then, it's time to get started. Hopefully, the King's Castle will not take as long as it did as Mega Man, because, well, now we're playing as Base. Wait a minute, did I buy the Super Base Buster? I can't remember. I should know this. Okay, yes. We have the Super Base Buster, and now it's time to just completely wreck this place. Base completely lays waste to so much of the obstacles that this game throws at you. Like, just shoot over the sniper joes, or just like shoot around all the enemies, and you can just demolish so many of them. And I missed. Well, I'll defeat this one. These of the centipede things are a different color than the ones in Groundman stage, but I think they have the same amount of health. See, the Super Base Buster is even strong enough to defeat the stronger versions of the Go Grizzlies. The attacks. The ones with the black balls that they throw at you. Those are not only stronger, they just don't bounce off the walls, but even then, the Super Base Buster is enough, and that's not far enough to go well. These ones only throw blue ones, and it completely demolishes them. There's still occasional use for special weapons, but the Super Base Buster almost makes most other special weapons completely useless. Well, not completely useless, but they are significantly less useful than they are when you're playing as Mega Man. There's so many situations that you could just use the multi-directional aiming that you have when you're playing as Base. That would make it so you don't need to use special weapons. Whereas when you're playing as Mega Man, there's more of a reason to use the special weapons. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I like it because it makes it so that there's multiple ways to play the game, and it makes you, when you play the game as Mega Man, it makes you more so appreciate how good the special weapons are. Because you wouldn't think to use them as Base, but you're like, wait a minute, these weapons are actually really useful as Mega Man. Gotta love that diagonal aiming. It's quite powerful. And it makes these jumps, the double jump makes these jumps significantly easier. Mega Man it is significantly harder to beat this game as Mega Man, but I'm not going to say it's impossible, almost since I did it, but I still think people make this game out to be way more difficult than it actually is. I'm gonna try something. Nope. There's a way if you can like stand on the ice wall that you can skip watching this cutscene. And it's slightly faster, but I mean it's not really necessary to try. I'm not a speedrunner and this thing way too high. There we go. This fight really it's basically the same no matter who you're playing as. It's not that interesting. It's just basically the same old stuff that you saw when I was playing as Mega Man. just gotta make sure you jump. You have a slightly easier time jumping out of the lava because if you mess up, you still have the double jump to help to get you out. And here we are in King Stage 2. I decided to cut out the middle part because it's not really necessary to watch, it's just transitions between stages. That even with, although this enemy I still think has too much health, because even with the Super Base Buster that took an egregiously long amount of time to defeat. However, now you can go up this way. There's lots of different little paths. Like that. They account for the different ways the end of that game through. People say this game is built for base, but it's built for Mega Man. I think it's built for Mega Man with alternate paths for base in mind. Because base just completely destroys all the obstacles that Mega Man would have to otherwise endure. Alright, now I think this is really cool. This boss has 3 weaknesses, if I remember that correctly. Yeah, this boss is weak to 3 different weapons, and I'm going to show off all of them. The remote mine is definitely the best option for the top cannon thing. I'm going to try and get that out of the way as quickly as possible, because that weapon is the most annoying to dodge. Just going to kind of ignore this. Come on, to the weapon. Hey, oh there we go. Almost. So the King Tank is weak to the remote mine, the lightning bolt, and the ice wall. And there's pretty fun ways that you can use each of them. Now the remote mine and the lightning bolt you can really use on any of them. So, I'm going to explain this. So, each of the segments of the King Tank has 16 HP. The lightning bolt does 4 damage per hit, so it takes 4 hits to destroy with the lightning bolt. Come on, use the attack. This is hit number 4, and it's done. The ice wall also does 4 points of damage per hit. And I got 3 hits in there, so this thing is almost dead. Now the remote mine, see, it's already dead. That was way faster than it was as Mega Man. And the remote mine does 3 damage per hit, but if you're smart and you time your hits well to when you're hitting the boss when it's not in motion, then you'll deal 6 damage because you'll hit it twice. The Super Base Buster is super powerful. It basically takes Base's main weakness of not dealing all that much damage with its Base Buster and completely negates it, which is great. I wish Base had all of these abilities in Mega Man 10, because really the Mega Man 10 version of Base is quite dumbed down compared to the version that you have in this game. And that just makes it kind of like another like mini option that you can play as, but it doesn't change the game as much as it does in this game, which I'm kind of disappointed by. They could have, like, they took out Base's double jump was the main thing, but they also took away a lot of his other abilities that he got. Now this is something that you wouldn't quite expect. But the King Thane is weak to the treble boost. The only problem is you have to be on the ground to activate it. So you have to activate it as the fight starts. The boss takes so long to spawn that you're already over halfway through your weapon energy by the time that the boss is actually vulnerable. However, it is incredibly effective against the boss. This boss has a really weird amount of HP. It has 34 HP. However, the treble boost does 4 damage per hit, so it defeats it really quickly. I don't know exactly how many times I hit him in that time. I could probably count, but I'm not going to. then the spud drill also does 4 damage per hit. At least the big spud drill does. And I just died. Well, that was stupid. I'm just gonna cut back to the fight. And we're back. That was a pretty stupid way to die, but I mean, you kind of gotta understand that that's gonna happen when you're going up against a boss over a bottomless pit with platforms that are relatively small and easy to miss. You can only shoot one of these volleys at a time, but as soon as they all go off screen, you can fire again. So if you get up close to the boss, you're gonna take more damage, but you can fire more rapidly, which makes you more likely to hit. In fact, I could probably use that and take this thing out. Yes, you can. But that probably was not worth my time because the boss is just gonna bring it out again. Okay, I think that's enough. You'll notice that the platforms are a lot farther apart when I'm playing as Bass than they were when I'm playing as Mega Man. That's because if the platforms were this far apart when playing as Mega Man, this fight would be almost unbeatable. Because there would be just so many different situations in which you would be almost completely screwed over that it just wouldn't be doable. It just would be completely awful. There we go. Now here's a cool trick. You don't have to watch the end of that boss cutscene. If you have an extra life to spare, you can, and you most likely will because of the respawning extra life that you have before the fight, then you can just do that and skip the entire end. And I just died. I should have bought a shot guard before I came in here. How many lives? Okay, I have a good amount of lives. Either way, if you have lives to spare, you can just do that and save yourself the trouble. But if you don't, then you just kind of have to wait it out. You have to do a bunch of ice wall jumps as you saw during my Mega Man playthrough to get up here, but Bass just makes it significantly faster. And you also don't have to do the really precise ice wall jump right there in order to get through that really tight gap. Do I have the defense? I really should keep track of what items I have on right now, because I'm doing a very poor job of that. Now I have to dodge these attacks slightly differently as Bass. Because you can't slide, you have to double jump over these attacks. And don't mess up, because that would not be good. You gotta get a good timing. And then eventually Proto Man shows up, and essentially the same thing happens, except Bass isn't like, Mega Proto Man, are you okay? I mean, he's kind of like that, but he's like, Proto Man, you don't need to steal this spotlight from me. I'll take care of King myself, and he's all brash and teenager angsty like. Instead of Mega Man being like, Proto Man, are you okay? Let's get out of here, I'll help you. But anyway, the fight continues on basically as normal. I'll turn this on and then switch to the light. Just jump into the middle pretty high so that you can always, so that you don't fall onto him when he gets out of his sunning animation. This fight is pretty interesting if you don't use the lightning bolt against him, but it's pretty easy otherwise. And then oh no, Dr. Wily was the one who created King, except that's not exactly right now, that's about now. Where you can see the doctor in the middle of all the Japanese text. Because they don't have an abbreviation for doctor? I don't know. I don't know Japanese. Either way, it's time to start the next phase of the fights. The wave burner is still the King Jet Robo's weakness, but it's significantly harder to hit him with. So most of the time, people will just use the Super Base Buster and double dash and double jump, and that will get you high enough to hit it. Interestingly enough, this boss takes 0 damage from an uncharged shot of the Mega Buster. So, unfortunately for World Mythrol, you can't beat this boss without using the fully charged Mega Buster. There's a lot of differences between this fight when you're playing, like, minor things that you may not think about, such as, because there is no platform, you can't hide under it from the bombs that he's shooting. Also, when he does his dash attack, he goes all the way up against the wall, instead of stopping just under the platform, so you have to double jump to avoid it. It's these little things that make the fight different. You're good at double jumping, double tap dashing, and then immediately jumping, then you can essentially just jump. It'll look like you're jumping, like I did right there, but you actually did a double tap dash. I missed. It doesn't take very long to defeat one of his things, the remote mine. Okay, he's actually using that attack. The best way to take care of that attack is to just use the lightning bolt. It's really annoying to try to hit otherwise. And you can tell where the bombs are going to fall because of the shadow. Oh, that's another instance of if you were going to kill the King Jet Robo in 2 hits with your current weapon, then the first hit will not cause stun mode to activate. So, as you can see, I hit him twice over with the Super Base Buster. And now it's time for the Dr. Wily stage. I'm not cutting this out because I commentated on this. Here we go. It's time for rematches. Might as well throw everything. Though I really don't need to use a lot of these bosses' weaknesses, because this fight will just go to show how powerful the Super Base Buster is. The Ice Wall itself has a lot of HP, and the Super Base Buster is strong enough that it can destroy it before it can reach base. So I can just stand here and shoot at Coldman, and he is not going to do anything. And then just shoot up to hit his cold mists, so that they won't be any kind of a problem whatsoever. And then without even moving, he's already dead. Also, you can just double tap dash, and then double jump right past the disappearing block puzzles, because we know that we love them oh so much, and that we love doing them, but we're gonna just skip them at every opportunity. Now, it is better to use the magic card against Astro Man. It does the same amount of damage as the Super Base Buster, but it's significantly easier to hit him with it, because of the fact that normally Astro Man is immune to damage from his bottom half, but the magic card completely ignores that. Also, the fact that it stuns him gives you a lot more time to dodge his random dives. and I'm really doing a poor job of this. Another interesting thing is that the magic card can destroy his copy vision. And I did a pretty bad job at that fight, but you know what? Oh well. I'm actually low enough health that critical attack is useful. And, well, now I'm not, because I just died, so that refills my health. Because I failed to dash there and get the double jump right. I think I'm just gonna ice wall it. Just because it's safer than using the jumping. For this one, I don't really have to. For these, I don't really have to worry. I'm not gonna get that extra life. And then just like pull here. And then the Super Base Buster also wrecks Dynamo Man. It does the same amount of damage as Copy Vision, but it's significantly easier to hit him with. So you would mostly just use Copy Vision for these attacks, because it can absorb them and keep you from having to dodge the lightning bolt. Also, the Copy Vision doesn't stun him at all, which is kind of weird. And why do you keep using the lightning bolt? That's so weird. He's not even healing yet, but I'm probably gonna jinx it and he's about to heal. Yep, there he goes. The Super Base Buster also makes quick work of this generator if you actually don't move out of the way of hitting him like I just did. The generator, I don't think... I might have been incorrect. I think I said earlier that it recharges him at double speed when you're playing his base. But I think, more accurately, it just recharges at double the pace when both generators are online. And then once you've destroyed one of them, he recharges half as fast. I wonder what cities those dots are in, because that looks kind of like the edge of America. And kind of Japan. So maybe those dots correspond to a city, or maybe it's just some random map design that the game designers gave it. Either way, I think it looks pretty cool. There's a showcase of Wave Burner dealing more damage to Pirate Man while he's above water. Yes, I can. I guess it's kind of a tight jump, but you can make things easier for yourself by moving all the spikes around. These jumps are also way easier to do as base, just because double jumping and dashing makes things significantly easier. Just destroying all these enemies. This video is going to be significantly faster than the one from Mega Man, because the Mega Man one was like 40 minutes long, and this has not been going on for nearly that long. The Super Base Buster is also great against Burner Man. However, if you let him off screen, him, and I just died. Oh well. If you let Burner Man get off screen while he is still being hit by the ice wall will disappear. I'm just gonna cut back to the fight. And we're back. I seem to be doing a pretty poor job of demonstrating how easy the Super Base Buster makes these fights. But I did so much better at this stage. I seem to be dying a lot more as base than I did as Mega Man, which doesn't make very much sense because most people say that this game is way easier when you're playing as base. But I don't know, maybe I'm just bad at playing as base because I'm used to playing all the other Mega Man games. Or maybe I'm just getting bad timing with all of the weaknesses. I don't know. Either way, I hope the boss doesn't make right. I need to turn on Super Recover, because I forgot to turn on Super Recovery last time, and then I died here, and that was the one time I died in the entirety of King's Castle's Mega Man, which I thought was pretty funny, but also kind of sad. This was the thing that killed me in King's Castle. Not any of the other things that people complain about in King's Castle, but it was this thing. I guess that goes to show that the rest of King's Castle isn't as bad as you think? I don't know. I went into this series with the intention of, like, arguing that Mega Man and Bass isn't as bad as people make it out to be. But I really haven't been spending all that much time making that argument. So I've just been kind of playing the game. And maybe my comments while I've been playing the game are helping, but I highly doubt it. Sure, why not? Let's put on critical attack. I mean, the stunning effect of all these bosses makes it significantly easier to fight them. I'm working on the Cloudman Syndrome video, but it's not done yet. I still have to finish up the script. And, you know, in videos like that, scripting is quite important. So I am going to switch back to the Super Face. Not Copy Vision. What are you doing? Did I just, like, pause buffer through that attack? I feel like I just pause buffered through that magic card attack. But I may be completely wrong. Let's recover some health. And then let's completely cheese this area. There we go. High ground, man. I beat you Buster only. So let's do it again, but let's do it twice as fast because the Super Bass Buster is extremely powerful. One might even say it's overpowered, but I think because you get it so late in the game, it's justified. So, yeah. If you could access this really early in the game, then yeah, you would have grounds to say it's overpowered, but at least it's somewhat balanced because it's so late in the game, and it's also an expensive upgrade, and you can't have any other upgrades active while you're using it. So it comes with that downside, but really, it's just so powerful that nothing can really stand up to it. So it's basically, it is the best weapon for Bass. If you're playing as Bass and you're not using the Super Bass Buster, what are you doing? Alright, let's see if I can cheese Tengu. Tengu Man suffers from Cloudman Syndrome. I demonstrated quite plainly in the video of this fight as Mega Man, and I'm also doing so pretty plainly here. Except now I'm messing up, but oh well. There we go. That wasn't so bad. It's slightly harder to do to Cloudman Syndrome him as Bass, but it's still pretty doable. No, not as Bass. In this game, it's harder to Cloudman Syndrome Tengu Man than it is to do against Cloudman himself. But it's still, if you have good enough timing, it's not that bad. And I thought I turned on the Super Bass Buster, and I did. This fight isn't too bad, just be careful because you don't have any healing items. The laser attack you can deactivate by shooting at it, so just know that and just shoot it a couple times and it won't activate. And then you'll be fine. Magic Card is his weakness. I think I mentioned that. That's Mega Man, but the thing with Mega Man is the Mega Buster fully charged does just as much damage as the Magic Card, which is harder to hit him with, but as Bass you don't have such an option. So you just kind of have to use... The Magic Card is the best option when you're playing as Bass. Let's see if I can survive this. Dang it. Let's just go with that. That attack is really annoying. Alright. I went into that fight with low-ish HP, so I can understand why I died. But the game has enough courtesy to skip the text for you the second time you fight him. So now you can just focus on beating Wily, and then finally beating the game. As both characters, That's strange, you normally use that attack when you're low to the ground. That's quite odd. If you get pretty lucky with Wily always shooting missiles, you can get through this phase with no damage pretty quickly. Otherwise, you might take a couple hits, but it should theoretically be enough. I think he always uses that attack first, but that may not be the case. And I need to do better. Oh, come on! Really? That was not a nice spawn location. Okay, I think I'm gonna dodge that. That attack he just used against me was quite reminiscent of the attack that he uses against you in Mega Man 8, which is quite a pain to dodge if you don't know what you're doing. I'm just using Lightning Bolt with the invincibility. But unlike the attack in Mega Man 8, it is just for projectiles that move at where you are. When they first fire, they don't adjust themselves twice in the process of attacking you, which makes them significantly easier to dodge. Alright, Wily, I want to beat you with the Lightning Bolt. There we go. Just because it's pretty cool looking, and Base has purple head things. I don't know. Wily, you have been defeated. And you can't really read the text, but you can like try to understand what's going on based on the pictures. Possibly. This credits theme is great. I think I've mentioned that before. But I like the Game Boy Advance version better because of the instrumentation. It just kind of has more of that spiteful feel, especially during Base's ending. Because at the end, the music actually gets to play all the way to the end. And the part that you only really hear when you play as Base really fits the end of Base's ending, because Base is like, what I am fighting for, because Proto-Man's like, you don't have anything to fight for, so you can't beat Mega Man. He's like, what I'm fighting for, that is nonsense. I fight only to destroy Mega Man, or something like that. And he's like, I will destroy Mega Man, and that is my goal, that is what I do, that is my reason to fight. Either way, Wily had this plan for King 2, or King the Second, but Proto-Man came in and destroyed it, and then somehow it fell on Dr. Wily, and he's on the ground. But I don't know. Proto-Man's like, what are you fighting for, Base? So like, you're not a slave to Wily. You don't have to follow his orders to destroy me. Now this is the part where it gets awesome. But I think it's even better on the Game Boy Advance version. I'll give a bit of a taste of what that version sounds like. think it has a bit of a better, like a bit of a more, the echo in that sound fits with it better. And yes, I collected all 100 CDs off screen just because I'm a completionist. Because I've never actually collected all 100, because when I got the copy of this game on my Game Boy Advance, it already had some of the CDs collected on it, but oh well. This has been Metroid Nerd number 9001, finishing up Mega Man in Base. Next up, after a short break, that will probably be about the same length as the gap between any of these videos, because these videos come out in pretty far apart increments. I will see you guys then with Super Metroid Ascent.